You guys are awesome. I'm going to tell you guys a story. There's no way my eyes are going to stay dry. So I trust you all got the memo. Waterproof or no mascara. But the beauty and the presence of God these last 3 days has been remarkable. It's something worth sharing. How would you guys go sit down? Thank you. My boys are amazing. Rachelle is no stranger to early morning workouts. Some of you have joined her for some. What? You have a fruit leather? Sure, Ren. Rachelle's no stranger of early morning workouts. You guys some of you here have joined her for those. It had been a few months. She signed up for a Spartan race she doesn't have the endurance or the strength that she wanted to have. So we'd been working on her morning routine as well, and so that day, she did as planned. She woke up at 5 a.m. She went into the room, got her phone, sent off a text message, got her shoes on, and went for a run. It's been a few months, and so she doesn't want to push it too hard, and so the runs were comically almost not runs. I refer to them as bouncy walks. In fact, Ezra joined her for one of the runs, and Ezra did walk next to her. She's like, knock it off. We're bouncing right now. But each day she did a little bit, just to ease back into it. She doesn't like running. And that day she went out for a run at 5. The run started at 5:12 in the morning. She ran just to go up to Prescott a little further today and then back. And she ran for 9 minutes. She obviously felt bad. We have her heart rate data and she's tracking her run. She sat down. She laid down. She fell asleep. Quick, quiet, peaceful, painless. Well, probably. I normally wake up at 5:30, not 5. I get my workout in when I ride my bike to work. But we'd been praying together in the morning, not like together, but in the same place. It's been great. But I had been up to late the night before getting ready for this coming rainstorm. There's some stuff that needed to get battened down. And the boys came and found me at, I woke up when they woke up at 6:30, but I stayed in bed, half sleeping, dozing, thinking about what I would have to do for the day. And then at 7 o'clock, they came and got me and said, "Hey, Papa, can you wake up now?" I'm like, "Yep, sure." We don't want to be alone right now. Mama's not home. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so I went out into the room, and I'm like, "That's odd." I checked my phone. I'm like, "Oh, Rachelle's on her running loop. She must have slept in too." And so we started chatting about her day, getting stuff going. And I checked my phone again in 5 minutes. I'm like, "Oh, Rachelle hasn't moved." I look at the map. There's no coffee shops right there. It's just random houses. And I'm like, Rachelle lost her phone. She's probably out there looking for it. And so I'm like, well, we should go find it and go help Rachelle. And for a hot second, I'm like, maybe I should bring the boys with me. But they were in the pajamas still, and it seemed like there was some urgency. And so I sent them straight to my parents' house, which, if you guys have been to our property, they live in an ADU in the backyard, which is awesome. And then I hopped on my bike and I took off. And I was still thinking that Rachelle had lost her phone. I was going to have to find it and then figure out how to find Rachelle, who is wandering her loop looking for her phone. That was my mindset. And then I get closer and I see a whole lot of flashing lights. I'm like, car crash. That makes a ton of sense. Rachelle is literally the person to stop on the side of the road. And, we've been first or near first on the scene of a couple of car accidents. And one of us will always help. Yeah. And so I keep riding my bike, and I'm getting there closer, and then I get close enough and I see that, there are no cars. There are no people. There's only one. Oh, no. And the paramedics are there. She's, her jacket and stuff has been cut open, and they have the chest compressing machine on there and doing the respirator. And I roll my bike straight into the middle of it. And these paramedics are taken aback, like, do you know this person? And I'm like, yeah, I do. That's my wife. And they were visually relieved because they're no longer treating unknown person X. They now at least have wife and husband. And paramedics know what they're doing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's probably been here for a while. She's going to come back as a vegetable if she comes back at all. And they go, and this woman paramedic just simply says, I'm sorry. She's played this game before. And then a few moments later, I'm like, she's been here for a long time. She's not coming back. And she says, I know. I'm sorry. And I get to go over, and I, put my hands on my wife's shoulder and look into her eyes that have clearly not blinked for a long time. And I'm like, wow, she's gone. And I just kind of stand there, like, what am I doing? I can't leave. They told me I can't leave. And they asked for my name and phone number and address. I don't know, like 1 million times. It's like every person there, like, what's your name, what's your address, what's your phone number? Okay, I need to write it down on another piece of paper. What's your name, address, and phone number? And my partner needs your name, address, and phone number. And he has more than one piece of paper, too. What's your name, address, and phone number? And I don't know how many times I did this, but they're finally cleaning up. It's becoming less and less people. And I'm standing there on the sidewalk, still pragmatic. I'm not a hugely emotive person. You may not notice right now, but that's generally the case. And I'm standing there on the sidewalk next to these roots of this tree with my wife's running shoes sticking out from underneath of a blanket, and just people driving by for any random, normal Thursday. And I'm right there in the middle. And as I'm standing there, God shows me something. There's been times in my life when God has given me pieces of knowledge, understanding, things I need to do, things I need to teach, things I need to say, things I need to understand. And every time I do it, it's so clear that God's will is being enacted. God shows me a vision. It's so rare for me to see things like this. But he shows me Rachelle up with Jesus. It's not Rachelle like we would recognize her as a body, but it's Rachelle, and it's with Jesus. And it's so uncanny beautiful. It's so full of grace. It's so amazing. It's so wonderful. And I'm just standing there on the side of the road, and I just start smiling. I'm like, oh, this is unreal. This is so beautiful. I'm like, I so wish you could send a letter to tell me more about it. I can't describe it with words any more than I can describe with words the scent of vanilla. But it was stunning. I was literally thinking to myself, people driving by on the street are going to think I'm lost it. I'm standing next to my dead wife grinning. But it was so beautiful. And God filled me with such incredible peace, knowing that despite how good of a life we had together, where she is now is like way better. The peace came before. The peace came first. And it's amazing. It's tempting. Like, one thing that's been fun is just the absence of why. I can't speak for everybody, but it's just been not there. About why, God, why my wife, why now? But God's hand has been in all of this so much. The rain is coming, if you didn't notice. We had 2 warm days. I had some painting that I needed to do. I have a lot of physical prototypes I need to build at work, which means I've been working in the office for a lot. And I'm like, but I got to get this painting done. So I got all of my prototypes buttoned up, and so I booked off the rest of the week to work from home. All of that Wednesday, the day before, it was a normal day, but it was a kind of day that's like an idyllic, whatever, you guys know English, normal day. Rachelle woke up for her run. I woke up for my prayer. We prayed together. The boys had breakfast. I knew I had a lot to do, so I put on some good upbeat music. Rachelle came in for her coffee. We had her little mini dance party in the kitchen. We even had dance parties in the sailboat. You have to be careful not to hit your head. And it was wonderful. I went to work. She homeschooled the kids. It was good. She met with Simon for lunch. I went to the paint store, and we came back, and we continued. And as I'm in the office in the afternoon, I'm working. I normally have noise-canceling headphones on because I can't focus to save my life, and sound canceling really helps. And usually I listen to a book or music, but what I'm doing right now requires so much thought that I can't. I have to focus. And so I just have something in my ears because, I don't know, I'm weird, that still helps. But I can hear Rachelle trying to do the afternoons homeschooling with the boys. And the afternoon's always hard. They've been sitting for a while. They're kind of done. And the boys were trying to get off the couch. They weren't listening. They weren't doing this or doing something else. And Rachelle just kept saying, back on the couch, keep doing, keep going, whatever. And she was so patient. She was so good. She got through the lessons so well that, an hour's passed. I finally finished, and the boys were free, and they escaped into the playroom, and Rachelle was picking up the books, and I came out of the office and wrapped my arms around her and said, Rachelle, that was amazing. That was so good. She looked at me and said, really? Like, you're so patient. Which is, Rachelle might come across as patient, and she is for most of us, but there's nothing like a 4-year and a 6-year-old that can push someone's buttons. And she's been working so hard on it, and she's been making huge progress, and it was so wonderful to see. And she said, thank you, that means so much to me. And we held each other for a little bit more, and she went back to start dinner, and I went back to the office to finish my work, and we came out, and we had a great meal of pulled pork, rice bowls, and she said, the pork didn't fall off the bone. And I'm like, oh, perfection didn't happen today? She says, Adam, it's so much harder to shred pork when it's still on the bone. And we had a great meal, and it was wonderful. And, I went out and played nighttime Foursquare with the boys, and she got some stuff done. And we came in, and I'm usually the one that does the bedtime routine and reads the stories, but I brushed the teeth. But Rachelle just grabbed the books and sat down with the 2 boys. We didn't even talk about it. She just did. It's like, where are we in Charlotte's Web? And they read the book together. And Rin, what book do you want to read? And they read the book together. And they went into the bedroom, and they cuddled up and fell asleep for a while, and got Rin for the first time on his own bed, which can be scary, and Ezra up on the new lofted bed. And Rachelle came out, and we sat on the couch, and we just chatted for a while. And she says, boy, I sure like days you work from home. I can't wait until we can set up our lives so all of our days are like this one. And we continue to just chat on the couch. She processes verbally. I'm her favorite sounding board. So she fills the room with words, and I say, at appropriate times. Occasionally giving feedback, but that's not necessary at all. And she chatted. I'm like, Rachelle, I'm starting to get tired of her doing anything else tonight. we better wrap this up. And she says, uh-huh, and talks for 15 more minutes. And then we continue on. We enjoy the rest of the evening in a way that only married couples can fully enjoy. You all know what that means. And it was just a beautiful day. It was a day that we were actively crafting our life to have all of our days be like. And that was what we were given. Rachelle also has a wonderful family. And I'm not just talking about, the ones you know, but like her parents and her brothers and sisters. She's one of 6. Yeah, you all get that. And they're amazing people. They're really cool. But one particular sister, they love each other dearly, but, they emotionally challenge each other on a regular basis, I think is the PC way to put that one. But they do love each other dearly. They just have a hard time frequently. Rachelle, if you remember, woke up at 5 a.m. and went out and sent one message. And she sent to the sister that she frequently has a hard time with. Hey, Chicky, thinking about you. I love you. Send. Shoes on. Out the door. She hasn't sent the sister a message. And I don't know how long, like a month or something. I didn't bother going through and checking, but it had been a while. And the last thing she does is wrap up the final loose end of her family relationships. Everything was such a beautiful way to close and remember God's hand was through it so much. When it was done, a good friend of mine came over and said, Adam, he's also a strong man of God. And he said, Adam, I also was with friends that Thursday night. And we were together in this worship session, and we just started praying. And I began to start doing the prayer of God, you can raise people from the dead, And then God said, no, stop. That's not the prayer. I'm like, God, I've heard stories about people raising people from the dead, going to the funeral homes and having their kids stand up after days in the refrigerator. And he says, no, that is not the prayer. Rachelle is with Christ now in a way that's so, so good. I don't understand the story of life always. But I know the author. And the author writes good books. I've read a few of them. And I don't know why, but I know it's hard, and I know it's sad, but I know the author, and it's still a good book. And this story of life that we are in the middle of is still a good book. And he has put into my heart not remorse for the years ahead that I won't have with my beautiful wife, but incredible gratitude for the 15 years of marriage that I did enjoy. There is so much peace, and I hope I am sharing that adequately with you. That God's hand is in the middle of this in such a big, strong way, making sure that me and the boys have the comfort that we need, making sure that Rachelle's family has the comfort that we need, letting us know so clearly that she's in such a beautiful place. I can't describe the impression of beauty, but it's so good. We've got stuff to look forward to. And in the big pictures, the grand scheme of things, we're not that far off. We are blips in the night. And even with the boys, when I got home, I'm like, we're going to miss Mama for a long time, But she's with Jesus. Jesus was with us. Means
Mama's not gone. Mama's still alive. Mama still loves you. Mama still loves us. We're all going to be together. And it's good. In the beginning of that first, even the few hours, I was amazed by the combination of sadness, pain, and peace. I always thought those things were mutually exclusive, but they're not. I've come to learn that when you follow Jesus Christ and know him as your Lord and Savior, and you trust fully and know fully that what we have at the end is more beautiful than what we have now. That the sadness of having someone skip the line, which she never did in life, and the peace of knowing that God has her and has us, they're not mutually exclusive. It's the way it's supposed to be. That we can, like one of Rachelle's family members sent out the hymn of it is well with my soul. Like when all this bad stuff happens, it is well with my soul. That was written by a guy who his 4 daughters died in a shipwreck, and he wrote those lyrics as he's going across that. We can experience grief and say it is well with our soul. We can miss wife, daughter, sister deeply and know that it's still good. And that's where we are. Grief goes in phases. I mean, even talking, fine right now, but it will come. It's not uncommon to have it transition to anger, into despair. There's a good chance I'll probably go through all of that. There's actual loose ends to figure out. So if y'all want to volunteer for Kids City, we might could use some helping hands. Seriously though. And but yeah. So I'm going to take time right now, then I'm going to be done because I don't really know how to end this well. But I'm going to pray for all of us, for God's presence, that we can really, really embody that Romans 12, that we won't conform to the patterns of this world, that we will be transformed by the renewing of our minds. That way we will know his good, pleasing, and perfect will, which is our spiritual act of worship. Lord, thank you so much for your beautiful daughter that we got to spend time with, that touched so many of our lives, that we're going to miss dearly, that we can also rest in confidence knowing that, she's in a good spot. Lord, I pray that you're with us as we grieve together and as we live together. Father, may we fill our lives with you, that may we continue to know your peace and your grace. Yeah, may we walk together as a family. Yeah, right now memories of Rachelle are hard, but soon they will transition into fondness of a wonderful soul. Thank you, Lord, for these people here that are our family now. May we continue to be together, love each other, and love you.